You are listening to The Bastards of Kingsgrave, episode 64. As we return to our anime and manga reviews, we're covering One Punch Man today, and as usual, this is Amin.
This is Ashley.
We have our usual anime team here. Who else is here?
This is Bill.
This is Bing. I'm sure trying to run the forums.
Yeah. And we're all hoping this episode records properly because we had a bunch of problems on Podcast of Ice and Fire we just recorded, so we'll see how that goes. And so today we're going to talk about One Punch Man, the recent anime, talk about anime-only stuff, and then we'll switch over to the manga and webcomic discussion for those that have read it. So, One Punch Man, what is that?
Actually kind of complicated, right? It started out as this really janky-looking webcomic that still had some pretty amazing story, and I think the premise itself started just as a joke.
Oh, really?
But I think so, but don't quote me on that. But eventually it developed into something that's really amazing. But unfortunately, the guy who draws the webcomic cannot draw. If you go and read the original webcomic, you can see that it's intentionally janky.
He gives hope, though, to people that can't draw but have storylines, because you could eventually have your own anime.
But regardless, this thing got really popular. So Shonen Jump actually approached this guy and say, we'll have this guy who's Yusuke Murata, who's a professional manga artist who can draw really well, and we'll have him draw your manga, redraw this manga and publish it on Jump.
Oh, wow.
And then it got even more popular. Reached a broader audience, and then finally last year they decided to make an anime, which a lot of people were actually saying that they're never going to make an anime out of this. It's so weird, it's so out there for Jump, but they did, and here we are. It's probably the most popular anime of last year.
Yeah.
Yep.
So how did you get into it, Ashley?
Yeah,
You just saw it on...
Oh my goodness, it was all the hype. Everyone was like, "Oh my god, they're actually making this into an anime." Anime circles were like, we never thought this would happen, but it's like, well, if it did happen, it would have to be Madhouse, and then Madhouse made it. It's like,
yep.
Oh my god, this is going to be amazing. And then just the hype train just started at that point and just kept going. It was a hype train anime. Everyone was talking about it. It's like, well, I gotta watch now.
It was in fall season, I guess, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I just saw it now. I finally got around to watching it, which was great. And then now I'm like, I could do a cosplay for this. It's simple enough. It's not the most complicated outfit for him. So I'm thinking about it. I might do that for Anime North.
That would be cool.
Yep.
Yeah, and we'll have to let's talk about a bit more about Anime North at the end of this episode before we do the switch over. It's because Ashley and I are going to it. So, okay, so we have this anime, and is it kind of like in a way, this deconstruction of this fighting genre, you think, or at least has elements of knowing more than it is, itself?
It is that, but I think it's much more of I don't know if like Power Rangers, right? In the US, we only know Power Rangers, but in Japan, that's a huge genre. Probably, that's probably has a broader reach than most anime.
Well, it's not just Power Ranger, though.
It's called a Sentai.
I'm sure there's Dragon Ball references in there, right?
But I think it's more similar to that. It's kind of Japanese superheroes, really. Sentai, the Sentai genre, and it is much more of a deconstruction of that genre, I think.
Okay, and I guess most people listening to this have probably seen it, but just to kind of talk about the characters, the main character is Saitama, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Saitama, and he's well, they called him the Cape de Baldi, right? It's his official hero name, but One Punch Man is what he is, and takes out pretty much anything in one punch. To the point that he's like, oh, this is so boring.
Yeah, can you give an overview of to what the show is about?
We don't usually do that because usually we expect people to list, but this could be one where maybe people haven't, so I guess we can talk about what it's about. Yeah.
There's not really. It's like the guy just kills him in one punch.
Yeah. He just takes him out one punch.
Right.
But he's just this cool guy is just he's just relaxed and just trying to do his grocery shopping. He's like, oh, I gotta make it to the. He's fighting some huge monster, and you think that he's having trouble with it. But he's like, oh shit, I forgot to bring my coupon to buy the leeks for something for the soup. So I think that's one of his drawing. He's got grocery bag in his hand while he's going home. Yeah.
Basically, the conceit is that this is a world in which monsters constantly attack.
Yeah.
Giant monsters, one after another, destroy cities every single time they attack. And then, in response, the world has completely bureaucratized the heroes into the single organization. And then you have this guy who is just completely outside of sort of both worlds almost, and
Like-
just doing it for fun.
You get that scene early on. I think in the first episode, it shows him while he still has hair, and he helps save the kid there. And I think that actually affects things. 'Cause that kid's father or grandfather
Right.
makes the Heroes Club or whatever, like, is inspired. So he has an effect right there. He decides he's like a broken down salary man. He's like, no, I'm gonna like become a hero. Starts training. He doesn't even do that much technically, right? He does like 100 push-ups a day and runs.
Most importantly, sleeps without the air conditioner.
No matter what the temperature.
Yes.
Then losing the hair is like the price he pays to become the ultimate hero.
Yes.
Oh,
It's a mockery of the origin story that every superhero must have a great origin story. Oh, you got bitten by a radioactive spider.
yeah.
You got, I don't know, shot on by a bird.
Parents get killed.
Right.
That man thing.
Yeah.
It's that's why I think it's kind of like a deconstruction in that way. Like the guy who made the thing knows a lot of these shows and he's playing with things, and like the character that's closer to like a hero's story is the cyborg, because
Yes.
he does have like the background. His family was killed and he's developing. He loses sometimes. He gets stronger. Like that's the character they put there for the traditional hero story. But his
The joke with Genos,
Yeah.
he always gets beaten up.
Right.
He always loses.
well, I mean, he still does okay. Like, yeah, he always loses battles, but he also kicks ass sometimes. Like, he beats some people down quite easily. And then, so yeah, I think in this type of show, like, if you have a guy that just punches somebody out with one punch, you think it would get boring. So they have to make it like they have comedy in there, and they also have the idea of like, well, he does all these things, but no one ever recognizes him for it. Like before, he's not even registered as a hero. He's like, because people didn't recognize him. He's like, oh, you have to go do it. He gets like perfect on the physical exam, and then it doesn't do well in the written essay.
It's like
He's a C grade hero.
it's like there's a god living inside him.
Yeah, it's like. It shows like this stupid way, all this like how stupid it can be to have like a grading system sometimes that
Yeah.
doesn't measure anything properly. Like it can't. So Genos has like starts in the S class, right?
Yes.
Yeah, S class is the highest. S class is an ABC.
Well, they picked out Genos to be in the S class, basically. They scouted him before, and they knew he was
yeah,
going
usually
to
you
the
have
S
to work
class.
yourself way up, I guess. Usually, unless you get like a really good score like him. And then one punch, Saitama gets C grade, and then you have to like catch a certain number of people with each week, or you lose it
Yes.
while you're in C
He
grade.
has to maintain his grade.
Yeah, so he's like running around trying to like look for trouble, and then somebody else is like, "Hey, you're scaring people." But that's one of the parts I love about this show is like people just like underestimate him all the time, and he's like,
Because he's only a C grade, so they think he sucks. But
Yeah.
like, no,
and then whenever he beats
he's
somebody,
just
they're like,
bad at written tests.
yeah, and then he beats somebody up, and then be like, "Oh, that monster must have been really weak. Then it's only a C grade, or he's picking it off." And actually, one of the changes I did notice, like particularly they have that, yeah, in the anime they have the scene with the sea guy,
The Sea King,
Yes.
yes.
Sea King who comes up and starts kicking ass, and then he beats him up. Like it explicitly shows in the anime that he like kind of says, "Oh, this was so easy," and he gets the crowd to go against him because the crowd was going to go against heroes. Like he
Right.
says that out loud. He doesn't say that in the manga; it's kind of implied.
Ah, right, yeah.
But they
I
actually
think
make him say those lines in the anime.
I think that is actually my favorite scene in the entire show.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, that's like the emotional punch you in the heart
Right.
bit.
One punch to your heart.
yes. Well, I mean, especially before that, because you have a bunch of heroes who are trying their best to beat the Sea King guy. They just couldn't do it, but they are trying their best. They're actually trying to be heroes.
Yeah, the bicycle guy. Too.
Yeah, especially Moomin Rider, the licenseless rider, who's actually my favorite character in the entire show.
And everyone's cheering him on. They're like,
Yeah.
"You could do it." And he gets his ass kicked.
Well, yeah, but he tries. He came, unlike other C class heroes, he comes back because he
If
wants
you
to help.
finish watching this series and you don't have in love with Mumin Rider, then there's something wrong with you.
Well, he also appreciates Saitama.
Right,
He sends him a thank you letter and like buys him like ramen and stuff. So
because he really realizes what Saitama actually did for them.
Yeah.
He was actually trying to protect them.
so then you have the scene. Everyone's cheering, and then they lose, but then he comes in and just takes the guy out with a single punch. And then they have like that loser guy. Like, well, I guess it shows like there's people that don't appreciate heroes, that don't appreciate it, and then Saitama explicitly kind of like takes it on him. Yeah, so yeah, that is one of the best scenes in there. But it was more like laid out in the anime. It's more implied in the manga. It doesn't have those particular lines. And then Genos is there because Genos got beat. He's like, oh, okay, master, I'll accept it if it is now, but if you need me, I'll be at your side. So they have a nice relationship, like master and disciple relationship. And Genos knows how powerful he is too. And it's weird because like they have this S-class hero whose master is C-class. But he makes it up. In the anime, I believe he makes it to B, right?
Yes.
Makes
Yeah.
it B-class.
And the last place of B class or something like that.
And then there's a variety of side characters we want to mention here for sure. Let's take a look at the characters.
I mean, we have the various S-class hero who, on like most of them, only showed up for like the last arc against the alien invaders.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They have the Fang. It's like the old guy, kind of like
Yes.
the archetype, like the old fighter guy, Atomic Samurai who chops around stuff, Child Emperor. It's like,
They're all kind of stereotypes.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, that's a joke. All of them are basically stereotypes of people who existed, like different sort of heroes that existed like in 80s, 90s shows.
Yeah.
You have, and they are the tiny Esper girl. Very
Yes.
common stereotype.
Yeah.
Tatsumaki the tornado.
Yeah, who's pretty
Yeah,
awesome.
I don't think it's a deconstruction so much as it is a satire.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Like it's not a full-up deconstruction because that wouldn't.
Not yet,
yeah,
no.
but somebody who like to do either a satire or a deconstruction, you need to understand the medium, and this person
Yeah.
knows it.
Mhm.
He could have done a deconstruction if he wanted, but he just did a satire.
I mean, I think even being familiar with comic book heroes, you would catch on to.
Yes, that's
Right.
why
I
this
think-
show has potential to be popular in the West, right?
I think this is why
Yeah.
the show has already been so popular when just on
Yeah.
streaming on Hulu.
Yeah,
Because-
like if you like Tiger and Bunny, you will love this.
Yes. Well, if you just like read Marvel and DC comics, you will probably love this too.
Yeah,
I think the show's going to get a dub at some point, which
yeah.
is good for further exposure to like beyond the general anime fans, right?
Does anyone know who has the license in the West? Is anyone?
Animation?
Take a look at Bill Legacy.
Not on the Funimation site.
I'm looking. I don't. Viz.
Viz, of course it's Viz.
Yeah, that makes
Why
sense.
nothing's come up of it.
Yeah, of course
They'll
Viz.
sit on that for 5 years. And...
Right.
Yeah, they should dub it and get it out there. I mean, they could put this on TV even. Like, I think it could be popular.
Yeah, no, it would
it's
be
not even
great.
that long
it
of
would,
a show.
It would work on Adult Swim,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah. So then it has a rank. So Tornado is number 2. Blast is not even seen. We don't even know what Blast is.
No.
Metal Knight is an interesting character. I mean,
Right, and Meta Knight is the guy who's basically, he doesn't give a damn about doing hero work.
Yeah.
He just wants to collect samples for his research.
yeah. He just gets to tech, and I mean, he helps
He's the
out.
one who's not even seen, right? That you
Yeah, he
kinda
just
hear
sends the
about?
robots to do. I mean,
Yeah, he
he's
sends
probably just a
robots, yeah.
scientist. Like, he probably is not a fighter himself. He uses the robotics.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys know what's going on, the manga readers, but it's like, for me as an anime watcher, it feels like he's gonna have a connection with Genos or something going on.
Oh, yeah, and I think we can say that because it doesn't say anything. We know nothing more from the
Yeah.
Okay.
yet, so then we can speculate. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Like you have a rogue
Well, I think-
cyborg that causes trouble, right?
I think at the end of the 12 episode, at the very last episode, towards the end, the Shadow Knight,
Drive
the other
Knight
guy,
is like,
yeah,
he's not your friend, or he's
Yeah.
your enemy.
Right.
says the other. So, like, it makes sense. Like, the guy obviously has some connection to the rogue cyborg.
Mhm.
Probably was one of his early creations that went rogue, or maybe even not. Maybe he was just bad.
Yeah.
So, like, this guy is going to be an enemy at some point.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be the end of Genos' arc, I guess. He'll, like, face off against him, and
maybe.
that's setting up. Then you have the King. Oh, actually, we can't talk about the King.
We can't talk about King. Oh, we know
Learn-
that King is the greatest hero.
Yeah, you learn more about him later, so we'll talk about that later. But it is interesting because they're set up for him in the anime. Like you pay attention to what the show is about the King because that is played upon later. Zombie Man is there as well. He's interesting. The Pig God, which is there, I guess, for the 4chan people to cheer on. I don't know.
My favorite of all of them is Watchdog Man, which is literally a guy dressed up as a dog.
Lightspeed, which I thought was a woman, but is apparently a man. Super Alloy Darkshine, which is borderline racist, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, that
It's no worse than any other Japanese medium of like. But the character himself is a fine character. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just like the way he's portrayed is kind of.
again, it's harkening back to the 80s and 90s, what heroes looked like back then. And
Yeah.
that is also an unfortunate stereotype.
Right.
Tank Top Master, which is like, it reminds me of Pokemon because there's different tank top guys. There's like, he's the highest level tank top.
And there are different. Yeah, there's tank top what? Tank top dude? Tank top...
Yeah.
Oh.
Because he wears a tank top. And it's somewhere in the description it says, like, it makes him more mobile because he's wearing a tank top. It's like, it's the ultimate clothing for battle. Then the other questionable one is Piri Prisoner, which is, again...
Yeah.
Oh, that guy, yes.
One that pisses off a lot of people.
Yeah. But, again, that's kind of like...
Bad stereotype, but it's Japan.
Yeah. It's no worse than other things that might be in anime over there. It's not like this show is particularly worse. It's just...
It would never fly in the West if that were to happen, but over there, things are different.
Yeah.
It's the Okama stereotype, the cross-dresser.
Yes, the Okama stereotype, yeah.
I don't know if this guy's...
I mean, this stereotype was here, like, even 10 years ago was here, 15 years ago, but was moved beyond that. Right? Like,
But you see that in Oran High School Host Club as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like the
dad.
people from the women's club.
Well, Haruhi's dad.
Yeah, well, Haruhi's dad isn't...
That's a pretty
Very stereotypical.
well, isn't this guy, he went to prison so that he wouldn't molest people?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, because he said if he does it in prison...
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But he isn't shown that much in the anime, is he? He's in there somewhat.
He's
but like,
quite a bit.
Yeah, he's in there.
he does
main
more...
character.
No, yeah, one of the side chapters they develop in the manga shows the whole story, and you're like, Yeah,
yeah. Okay, yeah.
Did you see that? Or maybe it was in the webcomic. I think it was in the manga. Like, he was
I'm trying to
basically like...
remember. I think so, yeah.
He was up to some pretty bad in the actual... But yeah, like, this is the one character that, because it's so stereotypical and problematic, they shouldn't play it up too much in the anime if they want to do well in the West. But, I mean, he does help in the fights, anyways.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's just that
It's offensive. It's like, it's offensive, and it could turn people off from the show. But it's not like this particular show is an aberration. It's just...
Yeah, no, I hate to be like the PC police, especially when it comes to anime, because I realize it's a different culture, but it really rubbed me the wrong way.
Well, that's the whole thing. Like, when you're taking the product here, and especially if you're trying to market it here, then you have to be aware of the reality that it's going to have a problem.
This guy will be a hard sell. But...
Yeah. But I think I mean, it was slightly different, and they didn't play on that too much in the actual what he did. They just with stereotypical, like,
they made jokes.
Trade is the jokes were still there in the anime, but in the manga it's a bit worse, I think. Okay, and then there's like handsomely masked sweet mask.
Yes.
Seems to be like a douchebag.
Yes. But he's the epitome of the guy who's in it for the wrong reason, right?
Yeah.
He's in it for the fame, for the glory.
And he's the top of A class, and then he says he stays there because he wants to block other people from going to S class that are not worthy. Yeah.
And he never does anything.
Yeah, he's just modeling the whole time.
Yeah.
You guys, okay, you manga readers, do you know his story yet, or is that...
No.
There is a bit of reveal about him that we can't talk about.
Right,
There's not much otherwise. Yeah, we don't know his backstory.
There's not a story arc that's involving him yet.
No.
Okay.
Which I
We do know a little bit more about him.
So we just know he's an asshole. And that's pretty much it.
But he also, I mean, he was killed a bunch of aliens at the end of the anime that are sitting down, but he's still a dangerous guy. Like, maybe it was easy to kill them. He's a good fighter. There's that. Like, he's not, like, completely weak.
Right.
He made it to the top of A class, but, oh yeah, Genos is in there, because I guess he got knocked in there. Metal Bat is an interesting guy, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he has a sister that he helps out. I don't think that's in the anime, but he has, like, a family and stuff. Okay, so those are the S-class heroes, and then they have, like, a meeting in the anime where they're all talking about the big thread, and then Saitama's there as well.
Yes.
And they're like, what is this guy doing here? Is he, like, Bang's disciples? Oh, Bang at least knows Saitama's powerful, because he saw him punch out a meteorite. So, so he knows, like, the people that know he's powerful. Tornado is like, I guess, Sundari kind of as well, maybe? Potentially there's potential for that. I don't know. She's funny, like, because they just ignore her when they come in.
Right. She's a bratty little kid.
Yeah. Well, that's it. They're not afraid to say that to her. I mean, that's one of my favorite scenes in the anime at the end is when she's like insulting Saitama because he comes out of like the ship and he's like, "What are you doing in there? You shouldn't have been there." And then she's like, "Oh, baldy, avocado, eggy, or whatever." And he's like, "Say something, Gino." It's like, "Shut up, you spoiled brat." It's like fist pumping in the air. I'm gonna put that screenshot with this episode because that was hilarious. And then she smashes Gino's. And is about to fight Saitama, which I would have liked to see, but then Bang is like, "Hey, you shouldn't do this," and she kind of expects Bang. But that is one of the confrontations I want to see is Tornado and Saitama. Mm-hmm. And we're not going to go into here, but it seems like the webcomic is finally getting there. Like there's we'll discuss further. We'll actually get more interaction with her. So I'm looking forward to that. But, okay, who else here? I'm looking at. I'll send you the link that I'm looking at for the characters.
Well, there's us. I mean, we've talked about him, just mentioned him, but Moomin Rider, who's a C class. Is he number one? Ranked number 1.
He's number 1 in my heart.
Oh, we have to do the whole game afterwards. The aftershow game.
Oh yeah, but like he's
C-class. Yeah, he is number 1 C-class. Nice.
Yeah.
number 1 C-class. Yeah, and he deserves it. Like he has absolutely no ability whatsoever, but he actually goes around and help people.
Yeah, right. He has no actual fighting ability, like beyond a normal person. He has no yeah.
But he doesn't care because he just actually goes around and actually helps people.
Yeah.
He gets people's cats off trees. That's a hero. That's what heroes should do.
Yeah, and Saitama, congratulates him as well too, like when he's trying to. There's actually a character here in B class that is not, or maybe she is there. Yeah, Fubaki is not
Fubuki,
covered in the anime, but it definitely gets it.
She appeared very briefly.
Yeah, so we won't talk about her, but she definitely has more development coming up.
Yeah, I don't recognize that name.
Yeah. The Blizzard of Hell. That you might be able to tell from that name, but let's see what else there is here.
I mean, not a hero, but also main character is Speed, the Light. What is it? What is his name?
Oh, the samurai.
Sonic.
Oh, yes.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
Speedo Sound Sonic.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because he's pretty decent, powerful. I mean, he has trouble with the Sea King that gets fully powered up, but like he's very fast. And
he's basically he's kind of like a mercenary.
Yeah, he's a mercenary type, and then he wants to. I mean, Saitama beats him a couple times, and he's always trying to get at him, but
right in the nuts.
He's like, "Sorry, your momentum carried you into it." And then that helped him out actually. When he put him away, helped him stay on the C class. He moved up in rank. And there's a hero called Glasses.
Yeah. Again, all of these is just
Glasses guy.
I also like how most of the villains, they're some of their backstories is completely ridiculous.
Yes. People
Like
just turn into monsters. They're like, I really like crabs. I ate so many crabs. I'm a crab monster. Well, there's a bunch of kings. There's kings of different areas. There's a sea
How
king.
does this world even function? It seems like a city gets destroyed every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't even. They're just called like City A, City B. They just have like letters or numbers. Letters, I think, for the most part.
Yeah.
Like the amount of people that must get killed.
Yeah.
When you really think about it, it's like, oh, this is really horrible.
Well, like Saitama basically lives in an area that's got completely wiped out of any population besides Saitama.
Oh wow, there's a tank top girl.
Oh yeah.
One of the best parts in the whole show is when he blows up the meteorite, saves the city. Mm-hmm. The city is still damaged by it, but otherwise they would have been all killed. And then like those stupid tank top people are trying to rile people up against him and be like, "Oh, you destroyed my car," and he's like, "Screw your car! If you have a problem, complain to the meteorite. It wasn't me." Like he stands up to him, and that was good. So that was a good scene.
Yeah. Again, there's subtle social commentary that's very smart in this show.
Yes.
It's not just pure satire, which.
So is this person is this their first work then? As you said, they're not really good at drawing, although they have improved.
Oh, you mean the original the original webcomic?
Yeah.
Yeah. One day that's basically his only thing.
Yeah. So he's just a fan of this stuff, and he just started putting out a webcomic, and then it came from there.
Yeah, and basically he put this stuff on his own website.
Isn't Sword Art Online also like that as well? Except the first.
No, I think Sword Art Online was started as a light novel.
Light novel.
Yeah.
Italia is like that, which is the webcomic.
Right.
So it gives you hope that for people out there.
Exactly.
These are good products that came out of that. So. Here we go. This list
from what I understand, the manga art is really good. It's the guy who did Ice Shield 21.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
Got that guy in, and so my understanding is he's redoing the art, but the original creator is still helping with the story, fulfilling gaps.
Mm-hmm.
But I understand that was one of the reasons why people thought it couldn't be animated was because the art was actually really, really good after that point.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so now we're on to villains here, and I guess kind of early on is that whole genetics. House of Evolution.
Yes.
Arc, I guess, and they have Mosquito Girl and stuff, and they just punch their way through that and beat the Carnage guy, and the guy's like, "Okay, I'm going to give up on genetics. This is not going to work." I thought I could improve people, but this guy's got past his limit. I think it shows them later too. They have like an octopus shop or something.
Right. I think, and that's the anime only.
Yeah.
Him and what's his name, the Hammerhead. The guy who doesn't want to work. So
Oh yeah, ends up going to work. Yeah.
And then he got beaten up by Saitama, and
they do show up in the webcomic again briefly too, but they're done being main characters. They're kind of going to be there on the side, right? Mm-hmm. They're not main villains anymore. Okay, so the main story, I guess the main arc, or the final arc of the anime is Boros and the aliens.
Yes.
So they've come and this is like the big guy of the universe come to find there's a prophecy that someone here can give him a good fight. So he comes and all the heroes are fighting the one of the generals and the ship, but then Saitama just goes straight into the ship and starts just killing things and heads through, kills one of the commanders, and the other one is like psychic and scared to fight him, but gets killed as well. Boros comes, he punches Boros, and Boros actually gets up, his armor breaks, and he's like, okay, let's go at it. So this is the first guy who doesn't get taken out one punch.
Well, I mean, Boros basically said, "You're still holding back, right?"
They have an epic fight.
Mm-hmm.
So, because it's funny, because as you said, the parody part, the satire part, like Boros has his various like Dragon Ball Z like type things, and then like he has just like multiple casual punches, and then it's like serious punch is his final punch. Beats him, and then Boros is like, "You were holding back, weren't you?" And it was, so he wasn't going 100% at him, but he wins. And that's it for the aliens. And then the Metal Knight comes in and steals the technology from the ship. Yeah, this page has a list of the villains and other people. Like if you click at the top, there's also the anime-only characters. Maybe you want to look at that potentially.
I mean, most of these villains, they're jokes. They're they're meant to be jokes. And the thing about this anime, they don't give a damn about these villains and their like backstories. They don't care about as well as the heroes, right?
Yeah.
They just come up with these villains with completely most ridiculous reasons ever, and they try to destroy a city.
Well,
yeah, it's your typical, the scene on Dragon Ball Z one episode villain that's just kind of ridiculous.
No, but we won't go into it, but there is a character that coming up that actually has a development as a villain.
Right, eventually.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you think season 2 he'd show up?
Yes.
Yeah. Like,
season 2 should be all about him.
Yes, the first season was like that. I mean, Boros has he was a couple episodes, but there is a character that has like a long arc, and there's stuff going on with him. So that's good. I mean, there's somewhere to go with the show. It's not just going to be the same thing over and over again. Okay, let's see, I think that's pretty much it. I guess we can do anything else.
I mean, I should mention that the animation in this show is fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah.
God, amazing.
Some of the scenes are amazing.
Wasn't it there?
I think it's episode 1 or 2 where he's fighting the underground people.
Like
it's the dream sequence. That is amazing.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, isn't it like a specific type of animating that's really expensive? That like when they use it for like whole episodes here.
I mean, I think there's much more details.
Yeah.
They're paying much more attention to the action and making the action feel real. And there's no speed lines, and there's no shortcuts getting taken. It's just really fast, rapid fighting.
Yeah, and the final fight is great.
Choreography too.
Yeah.
Right. The director of the Shingo Natsume was part of the team that was the Space Dandy. I don't know if anyone seen that show. Yeah. So and that was basically an animated showcase show, in my opinion, in which you have a lot of really cool animation being done. So these are very experienced guys who have done really cool work with animation, and it shows.
There's a chapter where Child Emperor like comes up with his device supposed to measure power levels of people, and he uses it on Saitama. It gets like undefined. He's like, "Oh, I guess you're like a normal person. You should really work." It's like, no, he's undefined because he's too powerful to show up on your device.
And of course, yes,
a lot of that joke is there because only certain characters have seen his true power, and just like Genos is the one who gets all like the fan letters, and everyone's like, "Oh, there's like a handsome guy," but like he doesn't get any, for the most part, appreciation. So that's an interesting. But he's still moving up the ranks slowly, which is good. He's not just staying at C rank.
It's funny that the people who have seen him really respect him, and then the other people who haven't are like very confused as to why these people could respect him so much. It's like, well, because he's freaking good.
Yeah.
It is very looks oriented business, as it turned out.
Yeah.
It functioned like any other bureaucracy, as it turned out.
Yeah.
The people with it's not the people who are the most talented that rise to the top. It's usually image sells, and hence why you have this Amai Mask guy being the top favorite. It's hero, except he never actually does anything.
Mm. Yeah, he's modeling and TV show stuff, right?
Yes.
But there's a question as to how powerful that guy is, because he could be like...
Yeah, well, he could be extremely powerful.
Yeah,
But he actually do anything with that power?
No, he shows up late to the final battle. He just like shows up. And he's like, "Oh, what's going on?"
He's a hero who claims to be a hero, but that doesn't actually do anything.
Yeah, no, he comes in and he disses them. He's like, "You call this a victory? Like, look, the city's all damaged." It's like, well, and I think the bad guy was going to beat him one, and they kind of.
Well, I feel like he's going to be asking a real moral question, like just the way he handled the villains at the very end and just takes them out and doesn't even bother any sort of mercy whatsoever.
Yeah.
And then also criticizes them for letting the city get destroyed. Like I'm wondering if there's going to be a very big moral question coming up with him, like posed towards the audience, whether hey, this guy's an asshole, but maybe he is got the better. I
mean, Genos himself mentions that.
He's an asshole.
Like Genos says, there's something bad must have happened to him early to like leave him scarred in this way emotionally, like because he's like I was before I met Master or something. So yeah, so we do learn a little bit about him, and I could make predictions, but there's no point in you need to have read it. But but the answer isn't there yet. We're only speculation.
I just feel like he's gonna end up having a really good arc.
Yeah,
he should.
He's one of those characters there's gonna be more there to him because it's been set up that way. He keeps showing up in the anime all the time too, right? There,
yeah, I feel like we're gonna hate him, but then we're gonna love and cry for him, but then also hate him.
Right.
Yeah, I could make a comparison, but I won't. It might give away too much, so I won't say it. Let's see what we'll do. We'll talk about Anime North a bit briefly, and then after show, and then Bing and I will cover the rest. Just in terms of Anime North. Well, as I was saying, I might do a cosplay for this. So if you want to do a cosplay, do a cosplay. He could be Tornado.
I've thought about it
because it's not that hard either, right? Like it's just the black dress and the big.
I've considered. I won't cross that off my list.
Because she's the only. I mean, the other character would maybe be easier for you to fit because she's taller, but she hasn't shown up in the anime. So, okay. So which panels are you thinking of doing? Have you applied for, Ashley?
Me? I'm on Game of Thrones one.
Oh yeah, I applied for that as well. So hopefully we'll.
And the Black Lagoon one.
Yeah. So we applied. Yeah, we applied for a Black Lagoon panel, and we have enough people signed up for it this time. So hopefully, it's up to them if they give it. But.
Yeah. But in terms, I've put out feelers for Ace of Diamonds and Kuroko no Basket because I'm a nerd, sports anime nerd. But no one's really been interested in that, so I'm like, eh.
Unfortunately, sports anime doesn't do well.
Did you try signing up for it? Because maybe some people might have signed up, just not on the forums. Like you probably.
No one's even replied. Like I haven't even gotten a single reply. It's like, and I don't want to. Like, okay, it's like if I put it in the Yaoi North section, like there's a Yaoi section at Anime North, it might get more interest. But it's like I don't want to just talk about basketball sex. Right. Yeah, so that's where I'm sitting.
Well, maybe if you knew more people who your friends were coming, they could apply to do a panel.
Didn't they when they bring Kuroko no Basket to the US? Haven't they translated the name to something really weird, like the basketball in which Kuroko plays?
Yeah, it's really long and
the basketball in which Kuroko plays, or something like that.
Yeah, and there's no actual release in the US. Like
right.
Haikyuu has one, but not Kuroko.
We'll apply for Attack on Titan, so hopefully we'll have that this year. Avatar: The Last Airbender, One Punch Man. And then I was thinking, wanted to talk about Gata HK, but it's not enough for its own panel, so I put forward the idea sex-positive anime and manga. Whether it exists, how many are there, and which ones go wrong. So that's like the more academic one. We'll see if it goes, but there seems to be interest in that. So, yeah, Anime North is fun as well. We enjoyed it last few years. I mean, well, I guess to point out, it's good to have you back on here, Ashley, because other than Anime North, it's been a while since we got you on here for an anime show.
Yeah. But Anime North is one of the bigger anime conventions in North America, and it's very well run. I've been to a lot of anime conventions, and it is one of the better runs.
Yeah, we always have our episodes. People listen to it. We actually met a couple listeners last year. Mary in particular joined us for like drinks afterwards. So cool. So that we're down with Anime North, pumping up there. So why don't we? I guess we kind of already kind of did like our after show. We know Ashley likes the bicycle rider.
Yep. I would hold a picture of him in my wallet if I could.
Where's the characters again here? Oh, it crashed. So Tornado is actually like 28 or something, so she's not a kid. So it's okay to like her.
Wow. Wow.
No, I don't know how far you read, but yeah, you get a bit of her backstory too. It's fleshed out a bit more. I guess good for Mimi then.
Jeez.
Oh.
We are never going to let her live that down.
Well, actually, you learn about Zombie Man's background a bit too. As I remember. No one's gonna go for Pig God.
No.
Does he have a description here? I want to see what it writes about. He just like eats his way through the enemy, basically.
Watchdog Man. That's my He has done absolutely nothing in the manga so far. So, even in the manga or the show.
No, but he's spoken of with respect. Like they respect his power. I mean, he's ranked 12, I guess, but
Yes. Just the guy who dressed up as a dog.
Yeah. King is a very interesting character. Just say, like you'll see, King is an interesting character.
Some of the secondary heroes are just stupid, like spring mustache.
Just browsing through here.
So you haven't met Blast yet?
No.
No, yeah, he hasn't shown up yet. He's just mentioned. I don't know if it says in the anime, but it says like Blast is like unpredictable, or they don't like to call on him or her. I guess like it doesn't like if unless they need to, likes to do things. I think it said him. I think it said he likes to do things his own way, but he's not.
Yeah, he hasn't shown up at all. We don't even know what he looks like. I mean, Bang is pretty cool.
He has like another old guy that fights with him, but I don't see him on the list here.
Oh yeah.
Well, just the fact that Tornado seems to respect Bang, like she the reason why she doesn't fight Saitama at the end is because he's like, "What are you doing? You're supposed to be a hero." She kind of like backs down.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that's all can be said at this point. I mean, hopefully the anime will come out, the next season will come out relatively quickly, like within a year, I guess.
I think November 2016, apparently.
Oh, really? That's pretty good.
Oh, yeah,
tentative date, maybe, but
was there enough material for another season?
there's definitely enough material.
Yeah, if it's 10 episodes, I think there is. Well, this one was 12, right?
12 episodes. Yeah. I mean, they do go through the material really fast, and that's part of why it was so good. It was fast paced.
Well, what's the is he in here? Oh, I don't see him. The Genos guy or whatever is what? Yeah, Garu. Garu is the arc, so that would be
Garo. Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there should be enough material for a second season, especially by the time we go to November.
Yeah. Good. We'll have to come back then and cover season 2.
Yep. All
right. I think what we're going to do is Bing and I will briefly talk about webcomic stuff, manga, just to put in the after show. Mr. Corb, you have to leave your thing on, I guess. Like
That's okay.
Just stop listening. Don't disconnect your headset or anything.
Right.
That might mess it up.
Yeah.
And but otherwise, thanks for joining me. It was good to do our VOK thing, and
happy to join in once again.
Yeah.
After a long hiatus. Hopefully I'll have a computer soon.
Yeah, we'll do some more. For sure, we'll do another Anime North recording once that happens, but more of our viewing overlaps. That's good.
Oh, hey, if we have internet access at the convention, we can do a live podcast.
Well, that's what we did. We did record last year. I just like to edit before I release it. Even it's a light edit. But okay, just before we wrap up, though, like, what have you been watching then, Bill?
What have I been watching? Konosuba is still awesome, and I actually found out recently kind of why it has so many pre-orders, why it's top of the list there is because it has like 20 volumes of a light novel, so it already has a really large fan base out there. Erased is. It still has good cliffhangers at the end of every episode, but you kind of...
Is that worth watching?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
You kind of
popular, but I don't know much about it.
Yeah, I mean, every episode is a cliffhanger, but we're sort of at the point now where it's sort of like, oh, that's not really going to turn out to be anything because we've done this before. You know, we had an episode where something very menacing happens, and the next episode it's like, oh, well, that turned into nothing. So it's sort of annoying, but it's still worth watching, yeah.
Cool. Well, I guess we'll let you two leave while we chat briefly about the webcomic anime.
Thanks.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks for joining us, Ashley, and see you later, Bill, as well.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about manga, anyways, for sure. But you haven't got to the end of the. Have you read the entire Garou?
Garo arc? Yeah,
Arc?
Yeah, Garo arc. Up to what the manga has though, so I haven't read beyond.
I'm trying to remember. Like, so does it resolve what happens there, or is it still
Not yet. So we're at the point. I think we're in between, right? I know what happens.
Oh yeah. Because the webcomic kind of jumped. Like, there's just like a 2-month break, and the manga's filling in that 2-month break.
Yeah, and we're at these English scanlations at that point.
So we can only briefly talk about it, I guess. But I guess the thing about how do you say his name again?
Garo.
Garo.
Yeah,
Okay.
Garo.
The reason why he's interesting is because his development is kind of related to Saitama's.
Right.
Like, he's kind of going on this villain arc, but he's like getting stronger and stronger and like getting past his capabilities, and he already was like a good fighter anyways, like because his understanding of fighting. So that's the closest thing to like what Saitama did, right? Rather than just like being born with like incredible powers. So that's what I think that he was being set up for, is that.
Yeah, and he was originally Bang's student. He was Bang's best student, but he one day he went crazy and beat up all the other students.
Yeah. What's interesting is that he had this vision like since he was a kid to do this stuff.
Yeah.
And so did Saitama to be a hero.
Right.
He also what makes it interesting. He's fighting various heroes and moving. It's not like he's just fighting Saitama. He's moving his way through the heroes, and that's interesting. Now, does he interact with Saitama at all in the manga so far?
Not yet.
Yeah, because there is at least a flashback, like, or something in the webcomic. I guess I thought this was in the manga. This is not resolution. This is like a flashback early when Garu is like going around and like he like tries. I think he tries to attack Saitama, and then Saitama just like punches him out in one punch. But this is still like early on, right? He's still developing, but he doesn't even see who he is.
No, at this point he just beat up Metal Bat, and unfortunately he is about to meet Watchdog Man.
Oh yeah.
I will be very sad.
So you're not going to switch to the webcomic then? You're just going to wait for the manga to...
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I generally know what's going to happen. I don't really care about spoilers, so...
Yeah. Well, I won't go into like how that whole arc is resolved, but I'll say it's moved on to another resolve, because I want to talk about the arc afterwards.
Okay.
The afterwards, it seems to be. Well, do you know who the Blizzard of Hell is? It says that in the manga.
Yeah.
She's the sister of the tornado.
Yeah.
Girl. Yeah. So it's showing both of them and their development.
Okay.
And so do you have a link for the latest webcomic? I just want to see if I've read the very latest release.
I think the very latest release just came out like yesterday or something.
Okay, I might have missed that.
I think I read a bit of this arc, a little bit, just.
Well, basically, what happened is what I wanted is to get a confrontation between Saitama and Tornado, because I haven't read this one yet. Good, I'm going to read this one. Wait, is this only 3 pages?
Hold
on, let me read this and come back to it.
Okay.
Because this might affect my.
This. Okay, let me try to find it somewhere else as well, because this.
No, do you think it only would release 3 pages in that chapter? Or do you think it's missing?
I mean, sometimes the manga only has a few pages, right? A chapter, because it's not a real chapter. It's the way Jump.
I haven't read 1 of 5 either, actually. Okay, where am I?
Okay, so One Punch Man. Let me find a more reliable manga scanlation server though, because that website's known for cutting off.
Well, so what happened is she's doing stuff, and then Saitama grabs her arm and is like, "You've done enough. Don't do this."
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think she was fighting her sister, like, and it was getting serious. And then she's like, "What are you gonna do about it, Baldy?" And he just like holds on, and then they have that confrontation, kind of like she's like trying to like fight him, and then he's like, "Okay, let's take this outside so we don't blow up the city." And they're like flying all over the place, and that's what the Tsundere part comes in, because he's just like, "Why the hell are you holding on to me? Do you like me or something?" And it's an interesting, like, it's the confrontation I wanted, and it kind of stretches out.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's like, "Why is this guy like not dying?" Yeah, so I want to see that in anime form.
Right.
Oh, did you get a link here? What is
this? This has probably, I think, has more pages.
Let's see,
maybe.
Oh, and the other thing is they kind of like fly their way through like other fights. Well, I think like the speed of Sonic like comes up to like try to deal with them, and she's like, "Get out of our way!" Just like that's him.
That's usually speed of like Sonic's role.
Yeah.
He's like Genos, but on the other side. He's the wannabe rival who's never actually the rival of anybody.
Yes, she says, and just like fires the stuff back at him.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that's that page 104. Let's see, 105. Oh, it really is just 3 pages, I think.
Yeah.
Wait,
and it's a webcomic.
Yeah. Oh, did I click on the right link? It's the battle link, right?
Battle, yeah. Let's say that.
Oh no, hold on. Let's see.
Yeah, no, there's a few more going. It's more than 3 pages.
All right. Well, maybe we'll just end the record. I mean, I haven't even read any of this stuff. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna read it. It's getting where I want it to go, and hopefully this will be in season 2. I mean, it will be. If it's season 2, it's gonna have to.
Season 2 is it's going to be. I mean, there will be King.
Yeah.
And I think the start and some Garo stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, I think we could talk about King. Maybe it ends with the Garo and doesn't get to this. This could be
maybe just King.
But just King can't be like 10, 12 episodes. Right? I mean, Garo building up is a whole season arc, but like, yeah, you could see Garo ending like the season, but even then, like, it might not be that. It might switch to this. It's hard to say. Okay, King we could talk about very briefly before we wrap up. So King actually has no power at all.
0.
And you can actually see this. It's set up in the anime because like he's there, you can hear his heart beating, but he's just scared. That's how you can hear it.
You actually see King in one of the early episodes.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, you see like a cameo of him.
And he's getting like saved by Saitama.
Because he was always there, right? No, I mean, you don't see him getting saved by Saitama. You just see him,
because he gets credit for Saitama's kills and stuff, right? He gets around. And so, like, they always say the King machine is starting or something, but it's just his heart beating really loudly because he's scared. But specifically, when they say, King, let's go fight the ship, and he's like, oh, there's nothing we can do. Well, it's because nothing he can do. So, but that, you don't know, like, that setup is because he can't do anything himself, but that's why. So that's, I think it's set up well to going into the next season with that. So. Yeah. There's another...
I mean, the weird thing is that he actually lives with Saitama in the same building, in a zone of basically there's nobody living there. It's him, and then there's King.
And they're hanging out playing games all the time and stuff. Oh, I don't know if there's a particular. Do you see the chapter where like they have a contest with the Blizzard team? And
oh yeah.
Yeah, and they all lose in the fighting game, and then King beats everybody.
Yes,
because he's good at playing games because he beats all like 40 of them, including like the former gamer, and so they don't have to join their group. And then she's leaving. He's like, wait a minute, you got to do something for us now. And then it takes him out to dinner to like an expensive restaurant. Pays for him. That was hilarious. Well, that's what I like. Blood of Hell also like respects him as well because she saw what he can do. That's it then. I'm gonna hang up and hopefully get the follow from